There aren't too many glass jars that get recycled or thrown away in my house. I save them and upcycle them instead. I made this soap dispenser a few weeks ago from a plain jar that I bought on Amazon, and I've really been wanting to make some matching storage jars.
These are just candle jars that I've recycled, melted the wax out of the inside, cleaned them up really, really well. And I've got the lid. I'm going to try to do something with the lid too.
I'm using a tumbler turner, which is like a rotisserie, really, and then white pool noodles from Dollar Tree. Now, why do I use white? Well, because then you can see all the pretty color as I'm working on it, and it makes for a better video, I guess. Now, the pool noodles are really, really flexible, and you can make just about any size jar fit on the turner arm. If it is too loose, just wrap a piece of rubber shelf liner around the arm, and that keeps it from slipping. Make sure to gather all your supplies and get organized before you even get started. Always clean your glass before you put resin on it because you will be surprised at how much oils are in your hands. And we all know that resin does not like that. The resin I'm using is my go-to for glasses, and that is KS Resin Liquidy Split because it really does cure liquidy split. Lickety split. Liquidy
I'm
split?
going to split off a little bit into a separate cup, and I'm going to color this one white. And then the rest of this cup is going to be colored with the mica powder in aqua. This is my favorite. I'm probably going to put quarter teaspoon. Okay. And then in this one, I'm going to put 1 drop of the Let's Resin, 1 drop, big drop of the Let's Resin Ocean White, and stir that up. Favorite, favorite, favorite white pigment for lacing. It is amazing. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm going to stir this one up, and you will see why this is one of my favorite mica powder colors. Look at that, and wait until you see it on the glass. Just wait. And I'm going to wipe my sticks off with a paper towel to use again. All right, so let's get you down here. I'm going to put a thin coat of this aqua first, and these are roughly level-ish. And I'm going to only go up to this ridge here before the glass kind of tapers in. Not really for any reason, but I just want to not put so much of the base color on here because I don't really know if I'm mixed enough. So I've mixed 40 milliliters. I'm pretty sure that's going to be enough. Well, we will see. So just smooth that out. It's going to be really, really pretty. Because my feeling is, why use so much resin if you don't really need it? You don't really need it, guys. So this is going to be 20 milliliters per jar. Not terribly worried about complete and even coverage. Like, there are some areas that are a little bit thicker than others, and that doesn't really matter right now. This one's a little lopsided. That's okay, as you'll see in a minute, because I'm going to use my heat gun, and that's going to push the resin, and it's going to make everything move around anyway. And then this little plastic cup, what I'm going to do is wipe it out with a paper towel and reuse it. I like using these versus the silicone cups that I've been buying because I can just see these a little bit better. I can see the markings on these a little bit better. Okay. All right, I plugged in my heat gun. I had to find it there for a minute. I reorganized my craft room this weekend and I couldn't find it. So let's get my stick. And what I'm going to do with the white now is I want to put a really kind of a thin line at the top, all the way And then just randomly on the middle, you know, kind of like that. You don't need to let this sit. If you want to, you can, but you don't really need to let it sit and get thick or get hot. This is a fast cure resin, so you don't want to leave it in a cup too long because it can cure really, really quickly. And that is called a flash cure. And a flash cure is not what you want. A flash cure means that the resin is too hot and you've got a mess. All right, and these are just little disposable cups, which are really, really great. Okay, now the heat gun. This is where the magic happens. Low heat and high air, and mainly you're doing this, you're going to pop the bubbles. The heat pops the bubbles. Watch what happens. I'm going to push, as the glass turns, I'm pushing that white out, and you're going to start seeing it move and lace and get cells. And it is heating up the resin, and that's okay. It's creating movement, it's encouraging movement. And then you can kind of move the heat gun away and then come back to it and just see what you get. Just like that. You don't really need that much. And you're kind of pulsing it on and then move it. And that one's good. And then let's go this one. And then it will kind of level out. The resin will kind of even out. So it'll thick on the bottom. You can kind of move that back up. And that's that. So see how it's wanting to bead a little bit right there? That's just because the resin is a little bit more liquid, and eventually it will even out. But I kind of like that. I kind of like that look. So I'm going to let this turn. I'm going to dinner, and then I'm going to come back, and probably by the time I get back from dinner, it'll be dry to the touch, and I'll let these continue turning. But these will be cured in a couple of hours, and then I can take them off. So then I need to do the lid. So a lot of white right there. A lot of white, but it's gonna be really pretty when it's all done. I love that. I'm a little conflicted about the lid. Let's just take these off first. I love it. One little tiny fish eye there, but I love this look. Really, really love it. Got one little spot on the bottom. It's not a big deal. You know, I could almost cut this lip off, and oh, I love this. Look at the shine, and look at the variation in the color. So this is almost like a pearlescent color. So this is going to be cute in my bathroom to put toothbrushes and whatnot. So I just want to clean up a couple of little spots because sometimes I can get a little sloppy. I think this blade might be dull, but I'm just gonna clean it up with an X-Acto knife. And this is going in my bathroom anyway. All right, so now what I'm kind of torn about is the lid. I have a couple of things I could add to the lid to cover up the wording. I could add this turtle. I don't know if it's going to make it too chunky. I don't know. Thought about adding this turtle. That's just a little too much, I think. And then I have this turtle. It's a little small, so I could add the starfish. That's a little big. I mean, I like this one. This is a turtle that I made the mold myself. So I made this mold myself using I had this little stone turtle that I wanted to make a replica of, so I used silicone mold making kit from Let's Resin, and I made a mold. So I think that's what I want to do, but I don't know. I feel like this is going to be too chunky, so I got to think about this. That's the wrong color. This is the wrong color. I'm always making extra molds, so I think this one, but I want to heat it up so that it'll kind of form to the lid a little bit. I use my heat gun. And it's nice and pliable now. It doesn't take very much at all. And so I am going to use, I think, some UV resin instead of E6000. And for this, I'm going to use the J. Diction High Viscosity because it is a little bit thicker. And then I have my Let's Resin little mini curing light there. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the UV resin on the bottom. And then hold it down and cure it from the back side. That is much better. And I want to put some of these little, they're not beads, they don't have holes in them. But I want to put some around the top here. I want to cover up the lettering. And I think this will be perfect in here. And the reason I took my gloves off is because I cannot handle them with gloves. So, and I'm making a mess. I'm making a mess. And so she's holding her hands together right here. What I like to do is put a little pearl right there in her hands. Perfect. And then I'm going to add some beads right in here. And all that's really doing is covering up the ugly. I mean, it's not really ugly. It's just, it's a gap. And I want to dress it up just a little bit. I hope that makes sense. I cannot grab these beads with my gloved hands. They stick. So don't come at me for not wearing gloves. I'm not touching the resin. Okay, that's going to do it. Love this. Look at that.
Let's go see what it looks like in the guest bath.
Woke up late, missed the morning glaze, but the sunlight hits in so many ways. Grab my shades and hit the streets, no plan. Chasing vibes like seashells in the sand. Radio hums a tune I can't name. Crooked smiles, crashing waves, no shame. Flip my phone, toss it in my bag. Today's for us, no time to lag.